half forward, where Alan Brown begins instead of the recently injured Neil Ronan. Expectations are high as usual that Joe Dean and Shawnee McGrath can prove match winners, but there are others, including Fergal McCormack, the player featured a little while ago on this programme, and they're all capable of having a very influential afternoon. Well, what of the subs this afternoon for both teams, because as you know nowadays you can bring in as many as 5, and there you've got last year's captain, number 17, Mark Landers, Pat Ryan, who I think is desperately unlucky to be left out from the outset, and then Neil Ronan as well, who also played in last year's All-Ireland final, and he's number 21. Tip up at the Kalainen end, and Tip are happy to leave well and good alone at the back, where Brendan Cummins has been having an outstanding year in goal. He's formed a very fine understanding with fullback Philip Marr, while on the half-back line David Kennedy has been in consistent form, but it's in midfield that particular pairing, they're taking all of the accolades. John Lahey and captain Tommy Dunn having a season to remember. There was a vacancy, as I say, left on the 40 owing to the injury of Declan Ryan. As it happens, Eddie Enright gets the number 11 shirt. Brian O'Mara continues his fine run on the left wing, but it's in the inside line that Tip will hope to do the damage, led on the fringe of the square by Paul Shelley. Shelley against Diarmuid O'Sullivan. That should be some battle this afternoon. Both men, of course, having had past experience of playing at full-back. And then look through the Tipperary subs list and you will see players such as Donnacha Fahy, a cornerback. You'll see Andy Maloney. It's good to see him back. He had a very nasty eye injury which he sustained in the league semi-final. Eddie Tucker is there as well, and the former All-Star Liam Cahill. What a good player to be able to bring in. Let's have a look at some of the players who will feature this afternoon. This is Paddy O'Brien playing in just his 3rd championship match. He was taken off in the semi-final, but I think he'll feel that he has a point to prove. So far he scored 2 points in championship action. And then looking down through the rest, there's John Carroll, had a spell earlier on the 40 and also at left half forward. And he was the Tip minor centre half-back in the All-Ireland back in '96. Played centre half-forward against Cork in the league. And there's John Lahey, his 35th championship match this afternoon for Tipperary. So far he's scored 5 goals and 61 points. And what a season this man is having. Philip Marr, he's certainly laying claims to be the best full-back in senior hurling this year. He's tamed a lot of very good forwards to date. And there's the man in situ, as it were, rated the number 1 right now, the best full-back around, Diarmuid O'Sullivan. He's been decorated at every level of the game and rarely puts a foot wrong. Indeed, won his battle against Brian Begley. And there's Mickey O'Connell. Now, there's a lot of pressure, I think, on Mickey this afternoon. Had a wonderful introduction to hurling in the match against Waterford, and is looking to repeat that kind of form. And certainly Cork are looking for him to have a particularly strong match. And there's Wayne Sherlock, man of the match against Limerick. He was both reliable and explosive in equal measure and got his first point in championship hurling. And then going right through all of the others, there are so many players with so much to contribute. The teams are coming across now to line up behind the pipe band. And Liam, what should we be looking out for this afternoon from your point of view?
Well, from my point of view, Ger, I think that if Tipperary are to win, they'll have to prevent the Cork full forward line getting goals. A lot of responsibility therefore rests with Paul Ormond, and I wouldn't be surprised if Paul switches to take up Shawnee McGrath, and also with Philip Marr and Michael Ryan. And of course midfield, Tipperary of Johnny Lahey and Tommy Dunn, and they're going to be central to Tipperary's chances. But I think the Tipperary entire half forward line of Mark O'Leary and Eddie Enright and Brian O'Mara, they must win that line because a lot of Cork ball will flow from there. So I think that on the Tipperary side, that's what they're looking for, and they'll be looking to that line particularly if they are to win.
Okay, right, that's the Tipperary point of view. Cork go in here as the champions. Pressure on them, of course.
Yeah, well, Cork are a young team and All-Ireland champions. If they're an older team, you'd say that Tipperary might catch them on the rise, but they're a young team, but that counts for nothing now. But I feel they must get goals from their inside forward line of Seanie McGrath, Joe Dean and Ben O'Connor, and Cork will hope to curb the midfield of Tipperary. And I also feel that Wayne Sherlock, Brian Corcoran and Sean O'Halpin were instrumental in last year's All-Ireland win, and they were outstanding in the semi-final against Limerick. And if that line performs and they get the usual backup from their excellent full back line, then Tipperary are going to find scores very hard to come by, and that should set Cork up for a win in my opinion.
And we should point out one thing. There's been a rumour going around, it's been in the papers and elsewhere, that Cork were going to play Sean O'Halpin in midfield. I was talking with a member of the management team before the game. He says, forget it, we don't want to lose this match, we want to play our strongest players on the half back line. So O'Halpin will be number 7. There he is. And this Sharon Navia.
Can I just say to you there that, you know, I know we have the Euro finals coming up and it's going to be a great occasion as well, but this is something special for us Irish people. This is unique, this is incredible. Nowhere on this planet are you going to see a game like this today. It's special.
This is high summer for most of us, you know.
Well, yeah, well, it's high summer for Munster men anyway, well, whoever.
Well, I suspect that everybody who's a hurling fan, whatever part of the country they are from, indeed outside the country as well, they're looking in at these pictures today. 55,000 people here to have fun, to enjoy themselves. It's been watched, for instance, over in New Jersey in the Grasshopper #2 Cup. And Jerry Coffey, Jerry, a very special hello to you. Also want to say hello to Eileen and Megan in Queens in New York from all of their friends. The Tip fans, they want to say Lahey 3-7. Biblical maybe?
If he gets that, Jerry, we definitely have another Man of the Match award and a grandfather clock. But, Jerry, isn't it most unusual as well? Here you have Tipperary going into play on their own home pitch, outsiders by everybody. You know, where in the world can you get a sport where you can go to the other person's ground and be favourites like this? And that shows you that hurling's an attacking game. There is no such thing as being just defensive in hurling. You have to attack, that's it. If you don't, you lose.
What about the midfield battle this afternoon? Tommy Dunn, John Lahey, acknowledged by everybody to be the outstanding pairing so far in the championship. And Cork apparently having difficulty coming up with two guys who are up to that particular level. They've moved Derek Barrett, who was left half-back or right half-back for most of the league, into midfield, and they've dropped Pat Ryan.
Yes, but having said that, Mickey O'Connell has turned in a few great performances, and you know, it's not a done deal yet. I can't see that Johnny Lahey and Tommy Dunn should dominate it completely, but Cork have enough armoury to make a few changes. But having said that, it's not a windy day. It should suit centre field players, and definitely Tipperary should be on top there, but that's assuming Lahey can do it 3 in a row.
There is also, from a Tipperary point of view, obviously the concern about the possible dominance of Brian Corcoran, the Erin's own man, and hurler of the year last year. Now, Eddie Enright, as of now, is down to mark him, as it were, rather than be marked, because Corcoran can be such a massive influence.
Yes, and he rains an awful lot of good ball into the forwards. Sometimes maybe they hit a bit too high to those smaller inside forwards. But Corcoran's a massive man to take on because he's a strong physical presence. He's a driving half-back. He doesn't go back, he comes forward on a non-stop basis. So it's a huge task for Eddie Enright.
Look at this for fantastic colour. The blue and the gold of Tipperary, the red and the white of Cork. First time that they have met in the Munster final since 1991. They met in a semi-final in 92.
And while it's been great to have Clare and Limerick, absolutely great, and they've done a lot for hurling in Munster, but really, let's be fair, it's great to see two traditional counties back again. It brings its own special atmosphere.
Although people have made the point in the build-up to this, right, you got 55,000 in today, but if you were meeting every year, you wouldn't, because people would just get tired of it. So that's why we need the rivalry.
We have to have variety in hurling, Ger. That's what keeps it alive, and that's why it's so good to see Nicky English and Jimmy Barry. Two fantastic men putting it back into the game at every level, and that is wonderful because we need ex-players to put it back in. That's what keeps our game alive.
Well, Cork and Tipperary in all championship matches. Nick in charge there with Jack Bergen, and of course Ken Hogan, the former goalkeeper as well.
Nicky would tell you as well, Ger, that his dad Donny was been a major influence on him, and on Canon O'Brien, the great Cork man, was major. And which is interesting one about that, Canon O'Brien said mass for them the last 2 days, but he didn't say it for him today. But a Canon is from Cork for people, and he said mass in red and white vestments the last 2 Sundays.
Parish priest in Carrigaline, of course, and he coached Jimmy Barry, and he coached Nicky English. He coached Nicky in particular at Fitzgibbon Cup level with UCC.
Well, Jimmy as well, of course, comes from a very long... There's a saying in Irish which is, you know, it's Richard and Duachas Tres Sula and Quits, which means breathing breaks out to the eye of a cat. Well, Jimmy Barry Murphy is... his granduncle was Diddy Barry Murphy, who was a hero on this very pitch back in the 20s. So we're looking at a long tradition of our great game here when you look at Jimmy Barry. A man who won All-Ireland medals in football for his county and hurling. He's a legend, a wonderful man. It's so fantastic to see himself and Nicky both here today.
Well, full credit to both teams. They stayed behind the band right until the very end so that all the fans right around the ground will get a chance to see them close up. A match which has been refereed by Pat Horan from County Offaly and from Banagher. He's a hotelier, of course. Well, the flags have just been lowered. There's a sense of expectation. It's Tipperary who won the toss. They played from left to right in the first half. Paddy O'Brien and Eugene O'Neill have switched positions, and Pat Horan gets the game underway. The 111th Munster hurling final, and the first kick is by Derek Barrett up in towards his half-forward line. Comes across towards Alan Brown, snatched away instead by Tommy Dunn. Down towards Paul Shelley, and coming out to win that first duel is Diarmuid O'Sullivan. What a roar from the crowd. Tommy Dunn getting it back for Tipperary. Inside into the corner towards Eugene O'Neill, and Paddy O'Brien's across there also. There's Sean O'Halpine trying to get that ball across into the centre. Brian Corcoran, a towering figure up towards Fergal McCormack. Timmy McCarthy walloping that one up towards Ben O'Connor. They try to get onto it again. The corner back there is Paul Orman, number 2. David Kennedy is number 6 for Tipperary. That's played back there by Ben O'Connor. Once again, it's Derek Barrett trying to get some decent ball forward towards Joe Dean, looking for the opening point of the match, but that's going to the left and it's gone wide. First wide of the match. But they're starting out with Joe Dean playing at full forward. Joe playing in his 11th championship match this afternoon. So far he's got 2 goals and 48 points. Brian O'Mara. Nice pick up. Brian Corcoran giving chase on his left-hand side, looking for the opening point, and he's got it. It's a beauty. Brian O'Mara from Mullinahone, making it tip 1 point, Cork no score. 2 attacks in the game so far. Cork put theirs wide, but Brian O'Mara has planted this one right between the posts. One of those inspired by the likes of John Lahey in the past, both of them Mullinahone men. That's in over the head there of John Carroll. Here comes Timmy McCarthy, looking for the equaliser, and he's hit it to the right. Couple of chances now for Cork, but 2 wides. And Tip taking the puck outs very quickly. They've done this in the past. They've also been studying teams like Limerick have also been doing that. But Eamon Corcoran's clearance wasn't a particularly good one. Paul Orman batting this one down. He's after it again. Ben O'Connor chases away after him. Carroll gets it out. Here comes Sean O'Halpine trying to take it low. The hurler and the footballer. Inside towards Shawnee McGraw, recently engaged. Ormond and also Eamon Corcoran, and it'll be a sideline ball to Tipperary. Corcoran there, who's a wonderful collegiate player and has been doing really well at the senior game. This to be taken by Paul Ormond. Not a great one. David Kennedy, shouldered. Alan Brown trying to get it forward. John Lahey is back there. There's a Cork man down injured. And the man down injured is Fergal McCormack from Mallow. He's got a blow to the head.
Yeah, his own man actually hit him, Ger. There was a complete accident.
Dr. Con Murphy going in to attend to him there, but this is what happened. He just caught Alan Brown's stick there. Attention is given. He'll be okay. Concerned look on the face of Jimmy Barry Murphy.
Again, Jared, this highlights the, again, for young people watching, the value of headgear. You could miss this game today because of no headgear. The older guys have a problem getting used to it, but it's a very important part of hurling in my view.
It's Joe Dean to take this, rolling it up confidently and dispatching it over the bar. The equaliser. Joe Dean with his first free, his second shot at the target, and it's a point apiece. Oh, he's going to need a stitch or two at half-time. Brendan Cummins delivering it down into the corner here. Eugene O'Neill has gone across. Remember, there is that switch between Eugene O'Neill and Paddy O'Brien. Paddy O'Brien chasing here after John Brown. Brown challenged there by Eddie Enright. David Kennedy was trying to get the stick to that one. Couldn't make a decent connection. It ends up being a Cork sideline ball. Well, there's the fast and frenetic start that we've all anticipated before the match settles down and develops a pattern. Kennedy being marked by Fergal McCormack. Towards Alan Brown this time, John Carroll. Two strong men. Well away. Towards Paddy O'Brien. Challenged by John Brown. Coming in here is Eddie Enright. Corcoran's after him. On his left-hand side, he's put it to the left, and he's put it wide. It's Tipperary's very first wide of the match. Eddie Enright, who plays his club hurling right alongside us here at Thurles Sarsfields. And the Cork dugout there, showing a certain amount of concern. I think perhaps it's the injury to Fergal McCormack that they're most concerned about. Beautiful balance, lovely control. Paddy O'Brien, he's headed away to the right.
Tipperary, in fairness, looked a little bit sharper now than Cork at the start of the game, and that injury will not have hurt Cork. It disturbs the team. People are concerned, what's going to happen next? What do we do now?
They're already warming up Neil Ronan. Donald O'Cusack targeting the left half forward. McCormack goes to take it. He's such a good fetcher of play and ball from the puck out. Inside towards Brendan Cummins. That's a good catch, well taken. Fine clearance back to midfield. Great catch again, Sean O'Gahyle this time. The warrior at left half forward. That's inside there towards Mickey O'Connell. Looking for a bit of latitude. Is trying to get it forward towards Ben O'Connell. Instead it comes out to John Carroll. Right half back. Now John Lahey likes to play deep this season. Gets a lot of good ball around the half back line for Tipperary. In the end, Eamon Corcoran making the clearance down towards Eugene O'Neill. Getting inside Fergal Ryan, the Cork captain this year. O'Neill still looking for the opportunity to get in a shot. He holds on, he still holds, he hits in the end and he scores a point.
Cork are going to have to do something with this, with Fergal McCormack. He's got to be given treatment.
Well, this was a lovely pick up here by Eugene O'Neill, the Capel White player, getting away from Fergal Ryan, doing just enough and scoring a very fine point. David Kennedy batting it back down for Tipperary. Mickey O'Connell stepping in. Inside towards Shawnee McGrath. McGrath with Michael Ryan close at hand. Angle is awkward, angle difficult. And the angle in the end, a bit too much for Shawnee.
The question that one, you would have thought it might be better occupied keeping that ball alive, driving across the 21-yard line. Seems a bit of a waste.
As Brendan Cummins is about to puck this one out, there's a lot of movement on the Tipperary half-forward line, and they're dragging, or attempting to drag, Brian Corcoran out of position. This is the man who stepped into position, Sean O'Gahyle towards Ben O'Connor. Back to David Kennedy, challenged by Alan Brown. Kicked away in the end. Gets it forward towards Eddie Enright. Brian Corcoran back now at centre half-back. Philip Marr coming out for this one, challenged. But he makes a very good clearance down towards Brian O'Mara, who's already scored in this game. Brian Corcoran getting it back for Cork, up towards Shawty McGrath. Michael Rang reaches out for it, fails to get it. McCarthy's in there. McGrath's there as well. David Kennedy's after Shawty McGrath. This time he keeps this ball alive inside there towards Joe Dean, and there's a scoring chance, and the point is taken by Joe Dean.
It's a better ball by Shawty McGrath, found his man inside and over the bar.
Teams level once again.
And Pat Horan is doing an excellent job so far. He's letting the play flow fairly, and it's tough and hard, but it's fair. And it's making a difference to the game.
Two sides who really want to enjoy themselves out there and be expressive and show everybody what they can do. Philip Marr is getting the attention right now, I think. I think he may just have been struck as he was taking the ball out the last time. I think Shawty McGrath may just have caught him. So Dr. Jerry O'Sullivan this time doing the running repairs, and Dr. Con Murphy likewise for Cork's Fergal McCormack.
I know, Ger, some people at home think some of these injuries look very scary, and they do, to be truth, but when you're running like that and your blood is up and you do get a nick, it tends to bleed more profusely than normal. But again, it just highlights the advantage of headgear.
Well, Philip was wearing a black helmet, but Fergal wasn't. Fergal, who's an auctioneer. Philip Marr playing in his third championship match this afternoon. So the tip doc has done his business. Nicky with Ken Hogan, Jack Bergen there as well, and the full back is in situ once again. Brendan Cummins to puck this one out. Low trajectory. O'Halpine goes high for it. Towards Timmy McCarthy. Dragging it down to himself. Trying to turn away there from the attentions of Eamon Corcoran. Playing it back towards Alan Brown. And there's a score for Cork. Alan Brown's first point. Cork take the lead. He's one of 4 Black Rock men starting this match. And it was Timmy McCarthy from Castlelyons who set him up beautifully. And a very fine shot. Mark O'Leary coming back for Tipperary. Wayne Sherlock. Under pressure from Brian O'Mara. They get it back as far as Paddy O'Brien. And O'Brien's shot is a bit wayward.
It's noticeable, Jared, that Tipperary's puck out has been hit with a low trajectory, so it's not been dropped into the hands of Corcoran and O'Halpine and Wayne Sherlock. They've obviously made the decision to drive them hard and low up the middle.
Well, I would have thought wherever possible Tipperary would be hoping to play fast, low ball into the forwards from half-back and midfield. But the game is still at that stage where it is trying to establish a particular pattern. That's nicely on by McCormack. Here comes Ben O'Connor. Mickey O'Connell coming forward. And he's hit it just to the right. Hitting it on the run, but Cork have now got 4 wide so far, but they do lead by 3 points to 2. Brendan Cummins puck out. Dropped in beautifully this time, in beyond the half-back line. Inside to Paddy O'Brien. He had a chance of a shot there just a moment ago, delayed. Eugene O'Neill now coming to his aid if he can. 45 metres out. O'Mara's in after, and here comes Brian O'Mara. He's got support with Paul Shelley. Goalkeeper coming out. Shelley. That's a penalty. Has to be a penalty. He was well and truly dragged down. The referee has gone in. Diarmuid O'Sullivan is protesting. Shelley was in the clear.
Sean Oak tried to drag him to the ground. He wasn't able either. He was a big man to try and drag down. He just jumped on him and tried to take him down.
Here it was Shelley, and then it was piggyback time. It's the first free of the match, and it's a penalty. Cork had 5 on the line originally. Donald O'Cusa going out to question the referee once again. This is the face of Tommy Dunn, leading scorer for Tipperary. In championship action, he's got a goal and 66 points. This to be his first score of the day. The Tipperary penalty is saved. Diarmuid O'Sullivan got the stick to it. It's cleared out by Fergal Ryan. A penalty after 13 minutes of the first half.
That will make a difference, Ger. It's going to make a difference. And that led directly from the Tipperary puck out, but that's going to make a difference before this game is over.
Diarmuid O'Sullivan saved it. Tip of a sideline ball. Here from inside the goal, you can see the number 3 spreading himself across. And the sideline cut has gone to the right, and it's gone wide from John Lahey. Still trying to make a major influence on the game itself so far, John Lahey. The ball has been basically flying in over their heads. That's touchdown there. Paul Ormond. Brian Corcoran coming to meet this one. The hand pass towards Mickey O'Connell, well aware that he was going to be closed by Tommy Dunn. Will be hoping to re-establish his confidence following that penalty miss. Might have gone for a point, went for the goal. Shorty McGrath was going in, but he was held back by Michael Ryan. Something of a veteran campaigner now, Michael Ryan. Of course, he played in the All-Ireland final back in 1991. And he had his number recorded there for trying to pull the shorts of Shorty McGrath. Free to Cork. Joe Dean the taker. 2 points so far. He's made no mistake. Tip might have had a point, might have had a goal at the other end. Instead, Cork come down the field and lead by double scores. Such is sport. That's beautifully taken by Tommy Dunn in midfield. Derek Barrett was chasing after it. Now it's Lahey, the man who can inspire them. What a shot, and what a goal by Lahey. First touch. 4-3. Lahey's after it again, but it's going to be Cork's ball. That was beautifully done by John Lahey. Just stepped away from trouble, quick as you like, and a beautifully directed shot. Mickey O'Connell.
Come on, Paul! Come on, Paul! Come on,
Ben O'Connell.
Come on!
David Kennedy taking it instead to Tommy Dunn. Beautiful ball down towards Eugene O'Neill. They wait for it again. Shelley once more, the menacing figure, but it's Wayne Sherlock of Blackrock and Cork gets this ball out. Sideline ball to Tipperary. And tip of a man down injured, and it's Eugene O'Neill. Eugene, who has switched across from right to left. And the team doctor busy once again. Eugene, who played, of course, in the All-Ireland final in '97 against Clare. Today playing in his 6th championship match. This is what happened to him. There were a couple of Cork backs coming out, and he came off very much second best. Jimmy Barry Murphy down there having a chat with some of his fellow selectors, including Fred Sheehy, Tom Cashman there as well, Bertie Oak Murphy, Johnny Crowley.
It has to be said, Ger, again with that injury, it's fellas coming full-blooded to the ball. You know, it's complete accident again, and it's a Munster final, and there's a lot at stake, and fellas are giving it everything. And despite the back door, nobody's looking for a back door out there today. They're really committing themselves to everything.
This thing about the back door, I mean, 55,000 people aren't going to come here if there's an escape clause at the end of it all. They want to see their team win.
There is no escape clause in hurling at the end of the day. You don't like to lose no matter what happens.
Beautifully cut in this time by Eamon Corcoran. Brian O'Mara taking it up, switching it onto his left. Shelley's in there, O'Sullivan as well, and the fullback has got it. Diarmuid O'Sullivan hand passing it out. Great play by the number 3. Brian Corcoran with a huge clearance down towards Shorty McGrath's corner. Fergal McCormack coming onto it. Inside towards Joe Dean, should be the full backs. Philip Marr coming out, he's left it behind. Cork applying pressure. Joe Dean, the artful dodger, and he took too many steps, and it's going to be a free out.
No complaints, he turned twice.
Free to Tipperary. Well, this is Diarmuid O'Sullivan, and that was an absolutely fantastic catch. But it's some contest between Shelley and O'Sullivan. Shelley has already engineered a penalty, but that time the full-back did well. Brian O'Mara trying to roll it up onto his stick. Mark O'Leary was coming through. It's O'Mara once again. The left half forward carrying it deep into Cork territory. Lovely little flick away by Sean O'Halpine. Back once again it comes to Eugene O'Neill, and they lose it, losing their way as well. Derek Barrett, today playing at midfield. Timmy McCarthy pressurising Eamon Corcoran. Here comes McCarthy. What a great run. Aware he was going to be hooked, however, and he was in the end by John Lahey. It's part of John Lahey's game which sometimes goes unnoticed. The great work he does, funneling back, doing the simple thing well. Or in this case, a very difficult thing well. Eddie Enright, nicely across to Tommy Dunn, going for the point. Shelley chases in after it. It goes into the arms of Donal O'Cusack. A very close Guinness Munster hurling final. Cork just a point in front. But a lot of tenacious play.
That was two fantastic sessions, both sides of the field. Little flicks and hooks on both sides to prevent really extremely good flick on this side. You see Timmy McCarthy gets flicked over on the far side. It happened as well, just before when the ball was played up the field. They're remarkable skills in hurling.
And it's done so quickly. Lahey is in again to challenge. This time he's tripped by Derek Barrett. Tipperary get the free. Big roar of approval from the Tipperary fans. He is their #1 right now.
Gerald, it has to be said that the Tipperary have managed to disrupt the Cork half-back line. They're not as comfortable on the ball as they have been in the last several games, and their game plan certainly is to disrupt the half-back line, and it's definitely working.
Tommy Dunn to hit this one. And he's hit it to the right. They've missed another one. And that now is 5 wides for Tipperary. Just going back to the penalty, Liam, after 13 minutes, because it was so early in the game, should he have gone for a point?
Well, I don't think so, really. I think you've got to be able to bury those penalties. That's it. I mean, you get your chance, you take them. And you don't get too many penalties, especially when they're underdogs coming to Thurles to try and win this game.
And the underdogs are coming forward once again. It was Enright playing it in. Eugene O'Neill shortening the grip on the stick and hitting it to the left. He's hit another one wide. Some desperate misses.
When Tipperary are creating the opportunities, Ger, but they're driving them wide. It's unfortunate. The ideas are right, but there's not getting the scores for the work they're doing.
Jimmy Barry Murphy and Nicky English out there on the side of the field urging on their charges. And I think Jimmy is a little bit concerned and worried at this stage, even though they're ahead by a point. Good ball ahead. It was intended for Ben O'Connor there from Derek Barrett. He was held back, and it's going to be a free in for Cork. And the referee is calling across. Paul Ormond. Meanwhile, they warm up the substitute, Liam Cahill. Could well be that they're very unhappy with the nature of the shooting. Paul Ormond's got himself a yellow card. So Paul Ormond from Lochmore Castleiney with the first yellow of the day. Joe Dean with this free. Perfect angle for him. Perfectly struck as well. He's now got 4 points. 3 of them have come from frees. And it's 5 points to 3.
And Cork are not going as well all over the field as Tipperary, and yet they're in front by 2 points.
Will Tip attempt to freshen up their side a little bit? Eddie Enright was out there anticipating the puck out, made a good run in from the 40. Here comes Paddy O'Brien. Still Paddy O'Brien inside. He had the chance of playing it in to the man who was coming through, who was Mark O'Leary. Cork were anticipating. And Wayne Sherlock in the end with a mighty clearance downfield towards Timmy McCarthy, but it's snuffed out by Eamon Corcoran. Good ball inside to Eddie Enright. Enright hitting this one from a huge distance out, and he's landed it over the bar. Eddie Enright from Thurles Sarsfield, his first of the day, and only a point between the teams. And Tipperary are bringing in Liam Cahill. It's 23 minutes into the match, and Paddy O'Brien, the player who has made way.
Actually, Gerard, I may not be entirely accurate, but I think that Tipperary have had about 6 wides, at least at this stage. And that's a lot of wides, you know, when you've been dominating. And certainly you'd have to say, will it cost them before it's over?
Well, as we have made the point in Sunday after Sunday here, or on Sunday after Sunday, the coaches now have the opportunity of bringing in 5 subs, so it offers up all kinds of possibilities. He's very disappointed. They're trying to console him, but they want to win the title as well, so they've made the change. Pat Horan going in for a word with one of his umpires. Liam Cahill, who's only just in, has given an elbow to one of the Cork backs, and he's got himself a yellow card. He hasn't even touched the ball.
That is absolutely stupid. I mean, you don't, you know, you wouldn't be a member of Mensa to do a thing like that. It's crazy. It's not on. It shouldn't be done. And the referee's right. And next time he's gone. That's no contribution to a team, in my view.
11 minutes to go to half-time. A match with 9 points, no goals so far. Cork shading it. Tip with a lot of chances. Paul Ormond unable to get the ball away. Instead it's Ben O'Connor. And Ben O'Connor hitting this one left of target. Scored a few great points in last year's championship, but now he has put over Cork's 5th wide of the game. Perfectly still afternoon here in Thurles. Little or no breeze about. Well, they've been very clever with these puck-outs. Enright had moved across to the right half-forward position to open up a gap, something like Cork had been doing last year. And it falls instead to Brian O'Mara. It's a great catch. He's held by Wayne Sherlock. It's a free into Tipperary.
I'm surprised that Cork not moving on this. I mean, Brian Corcoran wanders across wondering where will I go next on these puck-outs. And then they puck it to the far side and they pick it up and get a score from it probably.
This to tie up the match. Eugene O'Neill hitting it, and Eugene O'Neill has put it over the bar. The teams are level for the 3rd time.
Tactical battles to Nicky so far.
Well, it's tight, it's tense, and it's a very intense match as well. Donald O'Cusack pucking out. Again, they try to vary it and open up gaps on the half-forward line. Timmy McCarthy anticipating, coming onto this one. Eamon Corcoran coming across. Inside, intended there for Mickey O'Connell. Tip, stand firm. Philip Sheehy, he's hooked. Comes back out to Timmy McCarthy again. Remembered for a goal against Tipperary in the Under-21 Championship about 3-4 years ago. This is to Alan Brown, and that's over the bar.
This move by bringing Alan Brown onto John Carroll has certainly worked for Cork. That's 2 points from Alan Brown. His physical presence is holding John Carroll's contribution down.
2 shots so far by Alan Brown on the target, and 2 points. He did a very good job when he came on against Clem Smith of Limerick in the semi-final. And there's no doubt about it, Cork have gone for physique in bringing Alan Brown and Derek Barrett into their team. Tip up the sideline ball, and again Eddie Enright has gone racing away, anticipating this. He's gone away to left half forward, and Brian Corcoran has this time decided to leave that responsibility to Mickey O'Connell. O'Halpy gleefully taking it up, but he takes too many steps, and Pat Horan is very insistent on the 4-step rule this afternoon.
I think if you look at it, Gerard, I think Pat Horan I think he was correct if you look at it again.
It was a very fine take in the first place by Sean O'Halpy. Then down he came, and yes, he did take too many steps, you're right. John Lahey to strike the free. And that has gone wide. 7 wides now for Tipperary. Brian O'Mara points the way. And it's interesting, every time the ball goes wide, the goalkeeper's the ball in his hand straight away. Here you go, where I find the most favourable man to place the puck out to. It's Derek Barrett this time. McGrath's in after it, but he can't quite make contact.
Bad wide by Cork.
But the strategic way in which both goalkeepers are trying to place their puck outs is quite fascinating. Again, the low trajectory. This time, Tip managed to get it. It's Mark O'Leary. Played in towards Paul Shelley. O'Sullivan leaps in the air. Fergal Ryan comes after him. Eugene O'Neill is in there as well. O'Neill's got it, and he's got a goal! Eugene O'Neill.
Good goal.
28 minutes gone in the first half. Eugene O'Neill has made it 1-5 to 6 points, and Tip fans are celebrating. There was always menace when that ball was played in between Shelley and Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Fergal Ryan was trying to get it away, and O'Neill put it into the back of Donald O'Cusack's net. Tipperary showing us what they can do in front of goal. Eddie Enright, the provider, inside towards Paul Shelley again. He's having some battle with Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Lays it off to Brian O'Mara this time. O'Sullivan chases after him. Wayne Sherlock's in there as well. Playing it half-heartedly in towards Eugene O'Neill. The goalkeeper comes this time. Very decisive work by the man from Cloyne. Derek Barrett breaking it down to himself, running it to John Lahey. One number 9 against another. The unconventional way of taking it up into the hand to Brian Corcoran. 6 minutes to go to half-time. John Carroll coming racing away from right half-back. 3 Cork men after him. Inside towards Paul Shelley this time. John Brown, the number 4, the left corner back, struggling to get the ball away. Out it comes towards Mark O'Leary. And again, he wastes a useful opportunity. That's 8 wides.
Yep.
Here was the goal again.
Mistake made here on by the corner back that time. Just one of those unfortunate things under pressure. Good goal.
But Cusack had absolutely no chance of stopping it.
John Brown just missed the one-handed pick up there, which could have been costly as well.
It just goes to show you in a major championship match like this, the little bit of luck that will go for you or against you. Here comes Derek Barrett, laying it off to Alan Brown, stepping in around the 40 position, stopped by John Lahey. Lahey giving it everything. It's whipped away in the end by Eddie Enright. The clearance is by Fergal Ryan, Cork's captain. Huge one. Michael Ryan is robbed by Shawty McGrath. He was held. It's stopped by Brendan Cummins. It's a free in from 20 metres out for dragging back the corner forward. And there are indications every so often that Shawty McGrath's pace is a real problem for Michael Ryan here. He's already had his number recorded, so it is indeed a yellow card. That's 2 yellow cards now for Tipperary. The 2 cornerbacks have been booked.
But you have to say, Ger, Tipperary definitely are playing better than Cork at the moment. They look more composed and more organised.
Dean with the free, and Dean puts it over the bar. 5 points now for Joe Dean. 1 from play, 4 from frees. He's done just about everything asked of him. This was Brendan Cummins' save a little while ago. It was rather immaterial because the referee had whistled up in any case. Here comes Mark O'Leary, dropping it in, and again, terrible waste of useful possession.
Ryan O'Mara's winning a lot of good ball on the puckouts here for Tipperary. It's obviously applied to find him. He's got a very good hand and he's winning some good high ball.
This time the Cork goalkeeper targeting his own number 11, Fergal McCormick, but it raced in past him. And it becomes a sideline ball to Tip, taken very poorly by John Carroll, and a bit rashly as well. Tommy Dunn profiting, however, showing us what a very good player he is. Carroll coming forward. Belted in towards Paul Shelley. Again, he's a menacing figure in front of goal. Chance of a strike, chance of a shot, but he's put it wide.
I mean, if Tipperary had converted these wides, Ger, this game, Cork would be in very serious trouble.
Well, the wides count so far, it's 10 for Tipperary, it's 6 for Cork. This was the latest. Pressure again on the Cork backline. Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Good lengthy clearance into midfield. Good use of the ball. Derek Barrett. Ben O'Connor. Not able to keep the ball in play. They're protesting that the linesman, who was Eamon Morris from Dublin, was anticipating where the ball was going to end up. He had another viewpoint, said it went over the line. Wayne Sherlock and Sean O'Halpine have change positions to do a marking job. And Sean O'Halpine is picking up Brian O'Mara. Here's Wayne Sherlock, man of the match the last day against Limerick. Brian Corcoran. That's a huge one, but he's hit it to the left.
Jerry, you have to question both teams. There's no question about it. These bangs and shots from all angles. The ball should be kept alive. When in doubt, keep it alive. I think it has to be, you know, make more sense.
There is a certain nervousness that you still sense out there because they're two young teams. Okay, Cork may be the champions of Munster and the All-Ireland, but Tipper playing in their own backyard, and they're nervous as well. They don't want to let themselves or their fans down. Beautiful take here by Fergal Ryan, doing a balancing act. Good robbery that time. Eugene O'Neill dispossessing Derek Barrett. Barrett still putting some pressure on John Lahey, but they get it out as far as Eamon Corcoran. Corcoran stealing through the centre, looking for a score. Broken down once more by Liam Cahill. This time, he loses out to John Brown. Oof, a miss there by Paul Ormond. In comes Ben O'Connor. Two Cork men charging in that time. He was put over the bar. Ben O'Connor with his first score.
Shawnee McGrath was just inside him that time, one-on-one that time, and great chance of a goal for Shawnee McGrath.
Yes, it perhaps should have been, and he looked around because McGrath was just to his right there, ready to advance and pounce. Teams level for the fourth time. Just about approaching 35 minutes gone in this half. Once again, it is Eugene O'Neill. And Eugene O'Neill has put it wide. Some of the shooting has been abysmal.
Unbelievable, actually. The Cork half-back line are certainly under pressure. They're creating a lot of opportunities, but then Tipperary are not able to convert them.
Tip, however, with that goal after 28 minutes, a key score, having missed a penalty earlier on, or having had that penalty saved, maybe I should say. There's Mark O'Leary, and that's another one that's gone wide. Well, his manager Nicky English is on the sideline, urging him along, capping every effort that the lads are doing out there in the colours of Tipperary. It's his style of management.
It doesn't matter which line it is, Ger. The half-forward line are shooting it wide, and the inside forward lines are shooting it wide. So even laying it in low, you still don't guarantee of it going over the bar in the Tipperary situation.
The referee is going to throw the ball in. We're well into injury time, as you can see. Teams are level. John Lahey, the player, who's on the ground injured. Scoring chances so far. Tipperary have had 20 scoring chances. They've taken 6. Cork with 15 scoring chances. They've taken, as you can see, 8.
If it was on points, Ger, there is no question about it. Tipperary are well ahead on points. But on the scoreboard, the game's a draw.
Well, John Lahey is able to get back into the match, and the first thing he does is get the ball back following a very quick throw-in, and he was dragged back by Derek Barrett, and Tipperary get themselves a free. Can either side now take a lead with them into the half-time break? Lahey trying it from inside his own 65-metre line. It's stopped by Donald Cusack, and that is the final whistle at the end of the first half, which has been somewhat edgy. There have been a lot of wides in the game so far. 12 for Tipperary, 7 for Cork, 1 goal in the match. That's Liam Cahill coming off, but the goal was scored by Eugene O'Neill after 28 minutes as Fergal Ryan was trying to get the ball away, but it was buried by O'Neill.
Bad mistake by Fergal Ryan. You get a chance to let it fly out of there, tricked with it.
So the teams going in here at Semple Stadium on a perfect afternoon, a perfect pitch for hurling. The teams level on 4 occasions, and they're going in level at half-time. Let's go down to Jim Carney.
Ken Hogan halfway through there, it was put up to your team, but the response seemed to be good. It's a tight, tense match, Jim. And any Munster finals was for a lot of our players for first Munster final, so in fairness they've settled very well.
You did have to make a change up front. That was how serious you looked at your business there.
Well, Paddy was a bit off colour during the week with flu, but with the 5-sub rule we said we'd chance him and give him 20 minutes anyway, but he felt very weak, so we brought in Liam.
You're happy enough at half-time?
We're happy enough to win at level. We know that we have to convert our chances, but the second half is going to be a totally new game.
Thank you, Ken. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And the score here at Semple Stadium at half-time, it's Tipperary 1-5, Cork 8 points. We'll be back.
All square. half-time in the Munster hurling final in Thurles between Tip and Cork. 1-5 to Tip, 8 points to Cork. Now, there is one other piece of sports news that I have to relay to you, and it is tragic news. Joey Dunlop, the legend of Irish motorcycling, has been killed in a race in Latvia. Joey, in the sunset years of his motorcycle career, for something like that to happen at this stage is truly appalling. Back to the Munster final, however, Pete Finnerty, it looks like a bad match because of all the wides, I suppose. The hurling is committed, but the wides are appalling.
The wides are terrible, in fairness, and both sides are guilty, but Tip are more guilty than Cork. Cork have been the little more economical, and anything they have gone up front and any bit of room they've got, they've scored. But Tipperary have had some appalling wides, and everybody is guilty. Even take Brian O'Mara, who's having a great game. He had 1 or 2 bad wides. Mark O'Leary, who's winning great ball in the half-forward line and disrupting the Cork great half-back line. He's had 3 terrible wides in a row. I think Gerard hit the nail on the head when he said that even with 34 minutes gone, both teams seem so nervy and so edgy, so much afraid that the other team is going to open up and destroy them. I was hoping after the goal came that one team or the other might open up and they might start creating something and start chasing the game, or maybe Tipperary pull away a bit and let's see a bit of open hurling. It's tense, it's nervous, it's close, it's what a Munster final should be, really. And as somebody once said, we've had a lot more dull Munster finals than we have classics, but maybe we've another 35 minutes to lift it.
Well, I suppose Declan Carr, in the early stage of the match, Tip didn't seem to have a problem finding the post at that stage. I mean, we saw one lovely point for Brian O'Mara, for example, that really showed just get the ball, put it over the bar.
Absolutely, Michael. You know, when you see Brian striking the point, you're saying to yourself, here we go again, you know, repeat form of the last day.
Last day, yeah.
He's got several opportunities after this point that he should have probably converted and were easier opportunities. He runs through, turns Brian lovely, picks his spot and pops it over. You know, tremendous, from a very hard angle. Had easier opportunities afterwards, but the game has gone a little bit downhill after this.
Well, that was certainly a nice point. We saw something similar from Lahey, but apart from that, it's been somewhat wayward stuff. Tomas Mulcahy, let me bring up the penalty, the Tip penalty for you. Now, the penalty was missed, but Donald Cusack, a lucky player to stay on the pitch, perhaps even.
Yes, it was amazing maybe that he hadn't got a yellow card for the instant either, because you see Michael Ryan at the other side has fouled Shani McGrath twice and has got the yellow card. Here we see the penalty incident. I'm sure, like looking at it now, there's no doubt there's a penalty, but certainly wanted a yellow card at least for Donald Cusack. Paul Shelley may be disappointed maybe with his first touch, you know, that maybe should have gathered the ball earlier and maybe had the opportunity for goal, but they missed the resulting penalty as it comes up from Tommy Dunn, and it was a big let off for Cork.
And this has also shaken Tommy's confidence in himself a little bit as well, Sid.
Yeah, he's being relieved of maybe free-taking duties and things like that as well, you know, and it was a great block by Cork, but I mean, it would have been a brilliant tonic for Tipperary, because certainly they were on top in that period, the first half, and deserved to get the goal. Yeah.
Well, Pete, Tip did get the goal eventually. We're going to have a look at this one, because this was one that Fergal Ryan should really have dealt with earlier.
Yeah, it was an under-14 match at home, and one of your players didn't do what Fergal should have done and just got it out as a danger area, out of the square.
You
let a square roar at him if there was nobody listening. But again, it's no more than Tipperary deserved at the time. They were still putting the more pressure on, and if you go back as far as the penalty, they should have been awarded a goal there. Here we see it's a speculative ball in over the top, and the 2 big guys go jumping up for the breaks. And Fergal should really have just booted that out, or a little short flick out of the square. But he got 2 opportunities to clear and he didn't. And I suppose Eugene was a bit fortunate. If you see here, when Fergal pulls the second time, that it bounced up into his hand. But that's what good forwards are for. Took his aim and let fly. At that stage, it was, as I said, no more than Tipperary deserved. And if I can go back as far as the goal or the incident with Donal Logue, I thought, when I saw it first, I said, look, off, that's it, because it's a professional foul. He drew at his head, he jumped up on his back, and Shelley was so strong he carried him over the line. But you can't continue to allow that in sport, and the referee has to make a decision. At the end of the day, if there's only 2 points between them and Tipperary go down, there's going to be an awful lot of bitter people in Thurles tonight. And I
think, Peter, the most remarkable thing was that he didn't get the yellow card at least. You know, I mean, we saw the other side. He gave the tick to Michael Ryan first for pulling back at Shani McGrath's shorts, and then the yellow card for the second offence.
Right,
you know, so
a few minutes afterwards.
A few minutes afterwards. There's no hiding from the fact that he's very lucky to stay on the field at this stage. You know,
that resulted in a point for Cork.
It did, of course. Yeah, but not to get the yellow card was just an amazing decision by the referee.
He's defending the Cork man again, you see.
No, I'm not.
No, he's not. I think in fairness, he's saying he should have got a card.
I'm trying to be fair as much as possible on it, that it should have been a yellow card at least, and he didn't get that, you know, so he's lucky to stay on the field.
Declan Carr, looking from a Tipperary perspective, would you be happy with the team, with the way the team are playing, apart from the shooting?
Apart from the shooting, no, I don't think they should be entirely happy with the amount of possessions. They're winning in several positions on the field. I feel their play is a bit rushed. You know, I don't think the quick poke out is working for either team, but especially for Tipperary, they've organised in such a way they're getting good possession, but they're missing relatively easy chances. I think sometimes their backs are being slightly exposed, and you know, as Tomas said earlier, Cork are utilising the few chances they're getting. Tipperary are winning ball all over the park, but they're making elementary mistakes, you know, things that they should be doing, missing the first touch, dropping balls, things like that, and I don't think they'd be happy with themselves.
Tomas, it is true that Cork are making good use of the possession they have, but the possession isn't much, and this is something that obviously the forwards will be frustrated with.
It's a big worry because Joe Dean has got 4 points from frees, and Alan Brown has contributed 2 points, with Joe himself getting 1 and Ben O'Connor. The rest of the attack hasn't actually contributed from scores. We've got nothing from midfield either because even though Derek Barrett is having a good first half there and is playing well in his debut, but you've got to see more movement. Shawnee McGrath looks to have Michael Ryan in trouble, but he's not getting enough possession in there.
There's absolutely nothing coming back from the right wing from either Timmy or himself.
Nothing going his way. He showed in the first half there when he got in behind Michael Ryan, he was leaving for dead at that stage. And I'm sure at half time Jimmy was saying to his midfielders, saying to Fergal McCormack and Alan Brown, just keep the ball going inside to the inside forwards. No matter how we pull on the ground when the ball breaks, get the ball moving through. They haven't been that in the first half. There's too much picking, too much stopping of the ball out in the half-forward line, and if you're inside with pace inside your full-forward line, you don't want to see that happening.
OK, the question is, which 2 midfielders will be saying those words too? Do you think, as you watch the teams coming out again here, will Mickey O'Connell be there?
I don't think they're going to make any drastic changes at half-time, Michael. Mickey O'Connell didn't have a fantastic first half himself. But like they're struggling in key areas. There's a bit of disarray in their half-back line as well. I mean, it's the first time we've seen the movement in the half-back line where we had to have Wayne Sherlock switch wings with Sean O'Gahapin because he was under pressure from the puckouts with Brian O'Mara. So they've had to curb that one as well. So, I mean, they maybe give it 5-10 minutes into the second half, you might see a few changes then.
Taking a chance for Liam Cahill, was brought on in that first half to establish himself in this Tip team. A lovely hurler, but hasn't been going right for the last couple of games.
Hasn't been going right, Michael. I think his confidence is maybe slightly low. It didn't help to be a player's worst nightmare is to be brought on and taken off in the same game. You know, things like that. But I think if he just gets 1 or 2 vital balls and things go well for him on those 1 or 2 balls, he's a player capable of a match-winning performance.
Well, Pete Finnerty there is the Towerhouse himself.
Colossus himself.
Absolutely, yeah. But they've been made to work as Tomas was saying there in the half-back line.
They have, and probably Cork's problem, they're not getting the supply of ball that they generally enjoyed from their half-back line. They're not getting this lower trajectory ball. Brian Corcoran got 1 or 2 opportunities, and with the big high-sliding ball up in the air that he hit rather than the low one that he's hit in the past. And Cork have to get on top on their half-back line. They're being pulled to shreds there. And unless they settle down there, there's going to be less ball going into the forward line. The half-forward line as well has to work harder. Timmy McCarthy is really the only one that's working. Alan Brown has scored a point or 2 when it has been presented for him by McCarthy. Fergal McCormack, maybe the bang on the head took him out of the game for a while, but he better get more into it, because if David Kennedy starts towering down the field and start getting low ball, as John Carroll is doing, Cork will be in more trouble than they actually are.
Okay.
It's all to play for. It's still 50-50 as to who's going to win it.
It certainly is. Here we go for the second half.
Yes, it's just underway once again, as you can see. So the team's level. Philip Marr coming across here to try and get this one under some control. Plenty of pressure there from Joe Dean as well. This is snapped up by Ben O'Connor. And Ben O'Connor has put it over the bar. His second point of the match, and Cork steal into the lead once again. Tip, by common consent, have been the better side of the match so far, but Cork are taking those chances. Here comes Diarmuid O'Sullivan. He's left it behind. Brian O'Mara trying to get it up onto his, come on. Fergal Ryan with the clearance towards Timmy McCarthy. David Kennedy, centre half back for Tipperary. Beyond O'Halpine, O'Neill pressurises, but it's Fergal Ryan who is in total control, but a poor final ball away.
Yeah, that's a bad clearance. You have to say it too. You hope the game would settle down a bit more, Ger. It hasn't been a classic by any manner of means, and Cork certainly look like they haven't got the grips of the game at all.
Cusack.
Actually, I just agree with the panel. I didn't realise. I thought Donlow Cusack was booked. I didn't realise.
There were 3 bookings in the first half. They were all Tipperary players. Paul Orban, Michael Ryan and Liam Cahill, who came on, gave an elbow, got booked. And that is amazing, actually. Donlow Cusack was not at least yellow carded. Pressure on now. Here he comes, and the goalkeeper is fouled as he's trying to get the ball away. And there will be many who feel that he was very lucky to be still on the pitch.
Well, in fairness, I really think he should have been, my own view is he should have been yellow carded. And it wasn't a malicious tackle on even though it was a professional foul, as Pete Finnerty says, but he certainly should have been yellow carded without a question.
John Brown is the player down injured.
But the game just hasn't taken fire, Gerard. We need some fireworks from somewhere to make it happen. And a goal here or a goal there, we need something.
Pat Horan from Banagher and Offaly, the man who is taking charge of this final. Free to Cork. So it's Donaloe Cusack who will take it. Walloped into midfield towards Derek Barrett. Gets a nice flick on it. Stopped by David Kennedy. Half blocked down by Fergal McCormack. Comes out towards Eamon Corcoran. A player who really excites the imagination of the crowd. And that's a great score. And it's Eddie Enright. They haven't had many scorers. I think only 4 men have scored for Tipperary in the game. But they are level once again. 5th time in the game. Jimmy Barry Murphy then trying to settle his side down and retain their Munster championship.
He can't be happy with the way they're performing at the moment, Jimmy Barry can't be, and I'm sure he's wondering to himself, how can we get these boys to get going here?
Mickey O'Connell trying to take the puck out. Unable to gather it, however. It's kicked forward by Tommy Dunn towards Eugene O'Neill. Fergal Ryan trying to take it further away from danger. Derek Barrett at the end, walloping it out over the sideline ball.
That's two Cork fellas now have cleared the ball over the line, and absolutely nobody on them, which is uncharacteristic, it has to be said.
Bertie O'Murphy there, one of those, man who took charge of 2 very successful under-21s teams from whence an awful lot of these players came. He's a selector this year. That's hit in, and that's hit over the bar by Liam Cahill. Liam from Ballingarry making it Tip 1-7, Cork 9 points. Tip go into the lead thanks to this wonderful point. Both sets of supporters trying to get right behind their team. Early stages of the second half. John Carroll to take this. In towards Shelley, makes a good run, trying to slip in beyond Diarmuid O'Sullivan, and the referee says the Cork full-back committed the foul, and it's another free into Tipperary. It's interesting that during the first half, Tipperary were using 3 different free takers. Eugene O'Neill, they also used John Lahey, of course, and they also were using Tommy Dunn. Tip only 1 successful free out of 5 so far. Cork 4 from 4. Eugene O'Neill taking it, and that's now 2 points taken out of 6 attempts. But he's got a goal and 3 points.
Signs are ominous for Cork now as Tipperary are starting to convert their chances at least.
Huge support here for both counties. Eamon Corcoran, challenged by Timmy McCarthy, still manages to get his clearance out into midfield. Broken down towards Derek Barrett. Wayne Sherlock trying to pick the ball up. Space at a premium, and the ball is going to be thrown in by the referee, Pat Horan. That's Wayne Sherlock. He's gone across to left half back in a switch with Sean O'Halpine. Joe Dean trying to steal inside, and he's held by a number of Tipperary players. There were 3 men around him. One of them was John Lahey.
I thought he picked it off the ground, Ger, myself. I'd like to see it again, but I was quite certain he picked it off the ground. Maybe he caught it on the rise.
Here it is again. Was there the slightest of hops? But certainly you have reason to have your doubts, no doubt. Cork get the free in. Dean takes it, and he puts it over the bar. He's got 6 points. He's converted each and every one of the frees he's taken so far. And Pat Ryan has been introduced by Cork. And it's Pat Ryan who's in and Mickey O'Connell who's going off. This is over the head of Pat Ryan. Dropped by Tommy Dunn. Picked up here by Wayne Sherlock. Now at left half. Down towards Joe Dean. Philip Maher, the trusty Tipperary fullback. Out first time to the ball. Aware he might be hooked. Kicking it forward towards Mark O'Leary. It's grabbed instead by Wayne Sherlock. That's a dispossession which was beautifully done. Back it comes once more. There's Pat Ryan. In the thick of the action straight away. Paul Orman dispossessing Joe Dean. Getting it out towards Philip Maher. Alan Brown trying to get in the challenge, but it's Maher who completes a wonderful clearance way down into the Cork half-back line. Sean O'Halpine. He's got O'Mara around next to him for company to try and dispossess, but it's John Brown who gets it out. Held on there by Pat Ryan, the midfield player. Inside towards Joe Dean. He's pushed, and it's a free in for Cork. This time the referee having absolutely no doubt, and he's going in there to have some words. Philip Maher has had his number recorded. The next step would be a yellow card. Cork have taken 5 frees so far. Joe Dean has taken them all. He scored every one of them. This should be fairly routine by his standards. And it is.
If you notice now, Tipperary come forward and the puck out, and Mark O'Leary goes out into midfield and creates a lot of space, and they are certainly using that, Tipperary are.
Yes, he's already moving as we watch this in reprise once again. There was the push before the free, which just tied up the match. It runs on towards Liam Cahill. Inside towards Shelley, and he's restrained somewhat by Diarmuid O'Sullivan, but perfectly fairly. Brian Corcoran, the experienced man who had a wonderful debut season back in '91, held Pat Fox, I think, scoreless that time. This comes out towards Fergal McCormack, just gets the ball ahead towards Ben O'Connor, trying to steal inside. David Kennedy's after him, they're all after him. John Carroll's there as well. Carroll trying to kick that ball out towards the sideline, then gets the stick to it, but it's a sideline ball after all of that for Cork. John Carroll playing in his 3rd championship match this afternoon. Alan Brown being marked by David Kennedy. He's pushed in onto the 40. Pat Ryan cutting it across towards Joe Dean. He's got McGrath outside him. This is a scoring chance, and he doesn't miss gift opportunities like that. Acknowledges the fine pass which came his way from Joe Dean. And Shawnee McGrath from Glen Rovers gets his first point of the day, and he makes it Cork 12 points, Tipperary 1-8. Cork leading by just a point. The lead has changed hands in this match on 7 occasions.
You feel, Ger, if the Cork inside forwards get a decent supply, that they can do damage in there.
There's a lot of time remaining in this match. We're only 10 minutes into the second half. Once again, the fans raise the decibel level. That was targeted towards Derek Barrett at midfield, but won back by Tipperary. Runs on beyond Shelley. And the Cork backs trying to hold out the Tipperary forwards. Eugene O'Neill was nearest to Donal O'Cusa. Comes out to Brian Corcoran. Initially there was a fumble, but this time he's fouled by Eddie Enright, and it's a free out to Cork.
Every time he gets the ball, he's put under a lot of pressure by the Tipperary forwards. It's obviously their ploy to put him under pressure every time he gets the ball.
Well, he can be such an influence and such an attacking force. This free to be taken by Diarmuid O'Sullivan from Cloyne. The goalkeeper and the fullback both coming from the club which gave us the great Christie ring. And that is a line ball for Tipperary.
Very poor free by Diarmuid O'Sullivan, to be fair. Has them still under pressure at the back.
Well, whoever goes through to the semi-final from this, the other side will go through to the quarters, of course, and I think the two managers will feel there's a lot of room for improvement. Mark O'Leary runs on here to Eugene O'Neill. He's dragged down by Sean O'Halpine. It's a free into Tipperary. This is what happened here as he was trying to get away. Restrained by the number 7. And it's going to be O'Neill himself who will take this. A goal and 3 points so far. And you can make that now a goal and 4. But when you look through the spread of scores, you see O'Neill doing a lot of the scoring. Eddie Enright's got 2 points. Lahey's got a point. Brian O'Mara's got a point. And Liam Cahill's got a point. It's taken here by Derek Barrett. Good hand pass outside to Sean O'Halpine. Giving a decent ball inside to Joe Dean. Getting himself off the ground quickly. Partly blocked. Alan Brown's after it. He's come forward. He's got a goal chance. Kicking in, but it's stopped by David Kennedy on the line. Great play by the centre half back who was back there to deny Cork. Still the pressure. Pat Ryan in there, tried to deny Brian O'Mara any opportunity. Ryan is again keeping it forward towards Fergal McCormack. Against steps Joe Dean. Dean on his right hand side, and he's flashed this one over the bar. 8 points now for Joe Dean. What a forward. And Cork are in the lead once again by just a point. Here he comes once more. I think he's just about converted almost everything. I think there was a wide at the beginning of the game by him, but everything else has been a score. Eamon Corcoran turning it back once more. Pressure on John Brown this time. Brother of Alan, of course, the number 12 for Cork. And their brother before them, Richard, played in the Munster final back in 1990 against Tipperary here. Here's a chance. Lash saved brilliantly. Ben O'Connor was denied by Brendan Cummins. The action seemed to stop for a moment. It comes out to John Carroll. Cork have had 2 really good goal chances in the last couple of minutes. They're about to introduce one of their substitutes. It looks to be Kevin Murray. Meanwhile, Brian O'Mara hits this one and strikes it beautifully between the posts for his 2nd point of the day. It's level again. Tip 110, Cork 13 points.
The game has stepped up now, Jaron. That was definitely 2 goal chances, and then it's a point down the other end. A magnificent save, it has to be said, from Brendan Cummins.
He's a brilliant goalkeeper. Big man who uses his physique extremely well. Great athleticism and anticipation, and Ben O'Connor was denied that time. This time, doing the denying is Sean O'Halpine, denying Tommy Dunn. Clever ball inside there by Wayne Sherlock. For the substitute, Pat Ryan, steadying himself, hitting it with great accuracy, wonderful direction, and his first point since coming on as a substitute.
We have a game now, Jerry, I hope.
I think we certainly have. And there's still over 20 minutes to go. Wayne Sherlock feeding it inside to the man from Sarsfields in Glanmire. And that was a great score. And they've got another one to Derek Barrett. Playing just his 2nd championship match. He's made it 15 points to 110. You can't take your eye off this game for a second at this stage. Both sides have settled down. And the hurling has started to flow. O'Mara inside towards Shelley. And what a great catch by Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Denied space and opportunity to get it out. What a tenacious lad. What a strongly built fullback. David Kennedy, great anticipation. Wonderful positional sense. Striking it back, but there's nobody there waiting for it. And an easy one for Wayne Sherlock to go across and gather. Mark O'Leary, however, comes over to block. It's O'Leary who gets it up. There looked to be nothing on, and it's in beyond Shelley. And now Shelley is racing like a greyhound. O'Sullivan, however, wins the race. What a clearance.
Now we're hurling, Joe.
It's great stuff. David Kennedy. Back into the centre once again. Beyond O'Halpine. Away by Brian Corcoran. Lahey's anticipating. He had a man just ahead of him, was Mark O'Leary, and sending it straight to Wayne Sherlock. I don't think the ground for the clock is going to John tonight. Here comes Ben O'Connor. A goal chance earlier on. A point this time.
That's a great passage of hurling for about the last 5 minutes. Wonderful catching. Fantastic clearance by Dermot O'Sullivan. Beautiful point to finish it all off.
This was the point, and it was Ben O'Sullivan from Newtown Shandrum nipping in, denied a goal earlier. He gets his point. He's got 3 in the match. Now you can listen to the crowd, excited by what they're seeing down there. There may be huge sporting events elsewhere today, but for the 50,000 people plus here, this is what they want to see. The magic of the Munster hurling final. Michael Ryan is about to enter the fray. That'll be a second Michael Ryan from Temple Derry this time. Cork have a free.
Jared, it's interesting you should say about, we've got a Euro 2000 final today, and the football has been magnificent. You would be wrong to deny it. But this is something so special, it's so different. It's fellas playing to be at work tomorrow morning, having given battle out here. Great credit due to these guys. Absolute commitment all the way.
There's Michael Ryan, he's just come in, and Mark O'Leary has made way. Had a few chances, Mark, but didn't score. It's Pat Ryan. The free is just about 65 metres out. Some switches and alterations being made. He's holding on just a second. You think about all these fellas like Pat going to work tomorrow. You think about fellas who've had to give up their holidays. Young lads married, girlfriends and all the rest who anticipate going away to the sun, and they've had to make sacrifices for this, to play in the spectacle of the Munster final. And that's brilliant goalkeeping again by Brendan Cummins. He's a real star today. Broken down by Michael Ryan. John Carroll trying to take it out. Ryan's around as well. This is the new man in, number 18 there with the blue helmet.
But to be fair as well, Ger, they're lucky people as well. Lucky men to get the chance to be out there up to those people. And while, people say they're not given enough, they get great credit in their own counties, in their own parish. There's great honour to play for your county. It's a wonderful thing to do. So they're lucky people as well. As Tommy Lyons says, what else would a young man be doing at this age of his life? It's wonderful for them.
They're lucky to be blessed with the amount of skill they've got as well. The sideline taken by Derek Barrett. The new Michael Ryan has come in, has gone to midfield. That's Alan Brown. Oh, the umpire was ducking. I think he thought it was coming his way, and it was too. That was the shot. Yes, the umpire very wisely decided, oops, I think I'll take a dive here. The puck out was taken really quickly. Pressure back on the tip backs once more. Philip Marr, cool as you like, striking it sweetly off his left-hand side. Up towards Shelley. Lovely break of the ball to Tommy Dunn. Tommy's now in right half forward. Wade Sherlock's after him. Brilliant shot. Oh, it's in. Tommy Dunn.
Brilliant goal. Cal's flick. Unbelievable little touch and a flick. You won't see better than that anywhere else today. That's a 1-2 extraordinary proportions.
What a goal. A second for Tipperary. 2-10 to 16 points. Tommy Dunn. 15 minutes to go. John Lahey driving it back in towards Shelley once again. Dermot O'Sullivan and Shelley. What a contest. Liam Cahill making a better angle. Trying to line up Eugene O'Neill perhaps. He's got O'Mara coming forward to help him. Doesn't need him. Going by Fergal Ryan. Stopped by Sean O'Halpine. Ryan picking it up here. The Cork captain driving it into the right half forward position to Timmy McCarthy. Skipping away from Eamon Corcoran. Inside towards Alan Brown once more. Brown striking it and putting it over the bar.
Magnificent point. Now we're hurling, Ger.
This is what people have come to see. Cork 17 points. Tipperary 2-10. That's 16 points. A point in it. But this was where Tommy Dunn came forward and executed a most wonderful shot in off the post. No doubt about it. Tip celebrates.
But just before that, there was a flick on by Carl up into his hand as he went by him, and that was an extraordinary piece of hurling, and it made that goal.
Michael Ryan belting it in towards Eugene O'Neill. He's struck down. He's inside the rectangle. It's a penalty. It's a second penalty of the day for Tipperary. It was Fergal Ryan who upended Eugene O'Neill. There's no doubt about it. He was inside the rectangle. Arm held back. Penalty. The referee has decided. Some will think it's harsh.
I'd like to see it again, Ger. I genuinely would like to see it again.
Nicky English is in there. This was what happened. He went down. Tip will claim his arm was dragged back. And they've given the penalty to John Lahey as Cork bring in Kevin Murray. Lahey, second penalty, saved again. Donald O'Cusack's on the goal line. They give it away to Brian Corcoran, and Tip have missed a second penalty.
Getting like the Dutch.
Dutch or whatever. They've missed it, but put it down to a very good save.
I think it was 3 in the goal, Ger.
Brian Corcoran had his stick in behind the legs of Donald O'Cusack, and between them they managed to block it.
Great save.
Cork still lead in the match by just a point. Kevin Murray is in for Fergal McCormack. That's the latest change. It's anybody's game. 13 minutes remaining.
To be fair to Fergal McCormack, you look at it again, that blow on the head did not help that man. You just can't chip a blow like that and not take something out of you.
Jimmy Barry Murphy, his side ahead by 1 point. Cork have the sideline ball. Tip will feel they have been most unlucky, missing 2 penalties, 1 in each half. And 1 very good goal by Eugene O'Neill, following a little uncertainty, I suppose, by one of the Cork backs. That's Michael Ryan trying to get the ball away. And down in that part of the ground right now, there are 2 Michael Ryans. Nicky Coles from the sideline. Timmy McCarthy just getting a block on that. Last touch went to a Cork man. Next touch to Eamon Corcoran. Nicely cut up. Barrett contesting there with Eddie Enright. Pat Ryan nipping in. Great control towards Alan Brown. David Kennedy out there first time. Eamon Corcoran trying to get the ball away. Pressure now. Timmy McCarthy. Here he comes. This is his trademark. The man who loves to solo and race and tear into the fences. And in the end, it's come back off the post. He might have had a point there. Dean, much more economical. Tidy hurler. And he's hit it, and he's put it over the bar.
He's a predator. He waits on the edge. He picks up the snappy balls, and they're over the bar.
Well, he's the artful dodger, a little pickpocket almost of a player, but he's got 9 magnificent points this afternoon for Cork. He's always cool under pressure as well. Here's Sean O'Halpine. Tip not putting in a challenge. Down towards Ben O'Connor. Over there defending is Paul Ormond. Philip Marr coming across to offer assistance. Ooh, he was thinking about a hand pass to David Kennedy. And he drags his man back, and it's going to be a free into Cork. Just one of those little moments when Philip Marr, with a bit more experience, might have had time to get that ball well and truly out of defence. He was attempting to link up with David Kennedy. It wasn't a good hand pass, and the referee is now having words with him. He's already had his number recorded, so this has to be a yellow card.
Yeah, the Tipperary full back line look a little bit dodgy when the ball comes in. The speed and pace inside catches them slightly. And Philip Marr and Paul Ormond have switched around a bit. And they're finding it difficult to cope when it comes in fast.
Liam, one of the statistics which is quite amazing in contrast to the first half, with 25 minutes of the second half gone, only 2 wides, and another point now to Joe Dean. He's got 10 points in all.
Yeah, they've settled down, Jaron. They're starting to play hurling all the time in the second half. Again, that puck out again, the Tipperary are trying.
Eddie Enright not able to get that ball too far forward. It's Sean O'Halpine instead. Eamon Corcoran, the left half back, trying to scoop it forward. Taken up neatly here by Timmy McCarthy. He's wrestled down. It's a free to Cork. Big broad smile on the face there of Eamon Corcoran, protesting his innocence.
You can see Eamon Corcoran protesting there, and Sean O'Halpine protesting earlier on Eugene O'Neill. You know, sometimes players can grip your arm and drag out of it. Now, I'm not suggesting that happened, but sometimes you can do that, and you can manufacture a free, and that's what Eamon Corcoran is saying, and that's exactly what I'd say that Sean Oak said earlier with Eugene O'Neill.
Pat Ryan. He bends this one with the little bit of breeze that's around beautifully. The puck out's been taken. Ryan's got 2 points in this match, but the puck out was taken almost immediately. The ball went over the bar. Pressure in on Philip Marr once again. Dean is chasing after him. There's Ben O'Connor, and the number 2 is Paul Ormond. He wants to wave it wide, but the umpire has gone across there and is signalling that it's going to be the game's first 65.
Johnny Leahy is not making his presence felt today, you know. He's in midfield, he missed that short puck out. He's been switched, I think, now at this stage, but he's just not making his presence felt like he has in the last 2 days. And you always have to say, if Johnny doesn't come up trumps, how will Tipperary cope, you know?
Yeah, John Leahy has now gone into left half forward. Michael Ryan and Eddie Enright look to be the midfield pairing right now. Pat Ryan taking the 65, dropping it in towards Alan Brown. Brown trying to get the stick to it. They try to force it in. Kevin Murray was there as well. Michael Ryan from Upper Church Drumban. Nice clearance. O'Halpine putting pressure on John Leahy, now putting pressure on the Tipperary defence, laying it up to Timmy McCarthy, holding onto it somehow on his left-hand side. And Cummins was in there, but there was also a man, Ben O'Connor, in the square, the referee decides, as the ball was sailing in. And it's a free out to Tipperary. But so many really good individual performances during the second half. Leahy rising up, here he comes, taking on the Cork half back line. He's got a free.
Change of scenery might help his game and bring him back into it, but he's not gone yet.
Paul Kelly is about to be introduced by Tipperary in just a matter of moments. Meanwhile, Eugene O'Neill has put over another point, and that's a goal and 5 points now for the number 13. 20 points to 2-11. And there's the new man in, Paul Kelly. Paul Shelley is, we understand, the player who is about to make way. Nicky English is ringing the changes, and Tommy Dunn has gone to full forward.
Yeah, they're going to try speed, obviously, on Dermot O'Sullivan, try and change the game plan, because the big physical presence is certainly not working as well as they would have liked.
Cork have a 3-point lead, and there are just over 6 minutes to play. Michael Ryan towards Liam Cahill. Going out there first was Wayne Sherlock. He's beaten to the ball, however, by Brian O'Mara. John Brown this time kicking it downfield towards Ben O'Connor. Paul Orman's out there to mark him. Here comes the number 15, taking them all on. 3 tip men converging on him. But again, it's Dean. What a classy player. To Shawnee McGrath. And McGrath's put this one over the bar.
And the 3 little wizards in the inside line. Shawnee McGrath, Ben O'Connor and Joe Dean. Hard to keep them, hard to cope with them.
Well, this was Dean. This time he's the provider. But he's turning in some performance, Joe Dean. And Shawnee McGrath put that one over. Fergal, Ryan, not the greatest of clearances. John Leahy trying to step forward. 2 Cork men against him. And in the end, it's Derek Barrett and it's Sean O'Halpine. O'Halpine out towards Barrett. There's Enright kicking it, intended for Leahy, but out over the sideline.
It's noticeable that every time Leahy gets the ball, Cork are actually closing him down very, very quickly. They've decided, like Cork, like Tipperary had in the first half, to put pressure on Corcoran. They're putting pressure because they know Johnny Leahy's inspirational. They know if he lands a big point, that's going to be a big lift to Tipperary team.
5 minutes to go. Are Cork destined to hold on to their Munster title and advance to the semi-finals? Will it be the quarter-finals for Tipperary? There's still a fair amount to play, and Mark Landers is being prepared, last year's captain. It may just have been a precaution because of the injury to Derek Barrett. Sean O'Halpine about to take a sideline ball for Cork. Tip needing scores, but still only a goal in it. Enright. It's a wasted chance.
At this stage, yes. Shawnee McGrath's come out to play left half forward now. Small man on John Carroll. You know, it's a complete change. You see the 2 managers making different changes. Speedy man in on Dermot O'Sullivan, fast man out in John Carroll.
Tip with 2 wides in the second half, 14 in all, following their fairly miserable first half where they dominated but couldn't take their points. This is John Carroll. Low ball inside, tended for Tommy Dunn, comes straight back out at him again to Alan Brown. Belted towards Ben O'Connor. He's seeing a lot of the action in the second half. Nice pick up by Ben O'Connor. 3 points to his credit so far. Great block down by Paul Ormond. Comes back to O'Connor once again.
That's great play by Tipperary there. Great play, the shadow and shadow.
Some terrific individual jousts out there. Great duels. Cahill. Tommy Dunn was trying to take it down for himself, but it's Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Another huge clearance down towards Alan Brown. He's now in there towards Kevin Murray. Here's Murray. And Murray has put the ball over the bar.
It's a magnificent point. Give credit to Diarmuid O'Sullivan. The backs don't get credit for some of these. Kevin Murray, definitely a great score, but a great clearance.
That was a huge clearance, almost the full length of the field on a very still day to give Kevin Murray his score. Here comes Brian Corcoran, put under sustained pressure. Fine, lengthy clearance down towards Timmy McCarthy. A couple of tip men there, however. Here's Michael Ryan, challenged by Pat Ryan. Forward by Alan Brown, inside beyond Joe Dean. Brendan Cummins coming tearing out from his goal. They all miss it, except Michael Ryan here. Challenged and fouled by Joe Dean, held back. 3 out to Tipperary.
Tipperary, Cork half-backs down, are starting to play a lot better the second half, and it's been an awful difference.
Tip, who have missed 2 penalties, they were saved. Here comes Eugene O'Neill. Inside it goes to Tommy Dunn. A brilliant goal. This one. Tommy Dunn has got his second goal of the match.
The move worked. Into the edge of the square, changed the scenery.
13 minutes after his first, he benefited by the pass from Eugene O'Neill, and it was a rocket. Great goal. Try keeping up with this one. 2 between them. Derek Barrett. It really is still possible for Tipperary. About 2 minutes remain.
That was a magnificent goal, but having said the half-back line, Brian Corcoran let that ball right under his legs, and to the inside to Eugene O'Neill, and a wonderful finish by Tommy Dunn.
Tip have refashioned their side, a new midfield pairing during the second half. Dunn up at full forward, Shelley off. Still time to play. Shotty McGrath growing up in Glen Rovers, he'll have dreamed of days like this, taking on Tip in the Munster final. But he'll have also dreamed about putting over the bar.
And the fast puck out.
Again, the fast puck out, which Cork, I think, have now anticipated. And the referee says the last man to touch it was Brian Corcoran. No arguments from Brian.
You know, to be fair, you know, they haven't anticipated as well as you might think, Ger, because every time they seem to lack that little bit. You think they'd be a little bit sharper on the quick puck out, but they've been caught on it quite a bit.
Eamon Corcoran is coming up to hit this one. Nicky is telling them how much time remains. Oh, he's missed it badly. Taken up here by the substitute, Paul Kelly. Blocked down by Timmy McCarthy. McCarthy still trying to take Cork out of trouble. It's Tommy Dunn instead. Lovely play by Dunn. They need a score. It's just gone to the left.
Unfortunately, Nicky has his hands on his head. He should have kept that ball alive. Nicky knows that. Tommy Dunn now knows it. That ball should have been kept alive at this crucial stage of the game.
Cork are slower in taking their puck outs. They don't need to hurry at this stage because the match is going into injury time. It's down to the referee's discretion. Great catch by David Kennedy, centre half back for Tip. Up to Paul Kelly. They want to score, and he can get it for them.
A magnificent point as well.
A lovely point by the substitute.
Great second half, Ger. Great second half.
Neither side would in truth deserve to lose because they've both had great moments of supremacy and superiority, and the two managers side by side. A lovely gesture involving Nicky and JBM. All eyes on the referee. Can Tip get the ball back? Can they score again? Can they turn it into a draw? Cork want to score of their own to put daylight between them, and McGrath strikes it. That's a bit more like the dream he'd have had as a youngster.
You know, that's the great thing about the two managers. Shawnee McGrath's move to the left has worked as well. Game over.
It's all over, and Cork are the Guinness Munster hurling champions for the second year in succession. Shawnee McGrath's late point delighting Ted Owens, Jimmy Barry Murphy and the rest of the Cork backroom team. It was a Cork side that created 37 scoring chances against Tipperary's 35. Jimmy Barry Murphy, John Crowley and the rest of the selection committee will feel it was a job well done. Tip will go on to the quarter-finals of the All-Ireland Championship. They'll have learned, they'll have benefited. They've had 3 tough matches this year and they're not out of the hunt for the other title.
Not by a long way.
This is the Munster Cup, however, adorned with red and white ribbons, but a most enjoyable second half, Liam.
Absolutely wonderful, and I would not back a lot of bad money on these people not meeting again in the final. And you know, you could even see the title reversed, but it was a wonderful second half. Some magnificent pieces of hurling, some wonderful scores, full-blooded gusto. You can't but admire both sets of players having given us a poor first half. It was wonderful second half, and full credit to Tipperary, a young team on the rise that did so well, and fair dues to Cork to hold on and keep their title.
Diarmuid O'Sullivan there, along with Mickey O'Connell, and we'll remember some of those enormous clearances by Diarmuid O'Sullivan, first half and in particular in the second half. But overall it's been a festive occasion, enjoyed I think by everybody who loves hurling. Okay, there has to be a winner. And on this particular occasion, it's Cork who are the champions for the 48th title in Munster, winning by 23 points to 3 goals and 12. And you say to yourself, how does somebody like Tommy Dunn score 2 absolute peach goals and still finish on the losing team? Let's go down at this stage and see what Tom Cashman has to say about it all. He's talking with Jim Carney.
Tom Cashman, Cork selector, you knew many great days as a player, Tom. This was sweet too, I'm sure.
Oh, this is great. Munster hurling at its best, really, wasn't it? Had everything. Could have been a draw in the end, but I just think, okay, we gave away some stupid goals, but on today I thought we were slightly different, our team.
Whatever about the goals, you've got great points.
Yeah, I must say, like that, the guys who came on, Pat Ryan, fresh legs, had a great midfield last half an hour. But I must say we're delighted with the team, we're delighted with the win.
Yeah, not everybody in hurling would have known an awful lot about Derek Barrett going into it, but he played a wonderful game.
Well, we have Derek, I think, he was a minor for 2 years, or a 21 for 2 years, but Derek, you know, he's the heart, he's great, good player, and he did very well out there today.
Tom, these 2 teams could meet again.
Hopefully. Wouldn't it be great?
Just a word about the game finally, Tom. The way Sean O caught ball and delivered ball there today. This really, well, as you said, hurling at its very best.
Sean O was super fit. I hope he might get the Olympics during the year, because that could try his hand at anything, you know.
Thank you, Tom.
Give him a
Thank you very much.
Yes, that is Tom Cashman there, great number 6 in the past, of course, along with his brother Jim. He's now a very valued member of Cork's backroom team. And is that Sean O'Halpine? I think it is down there. I do remember when they brought the McCarthy Cup back into the Grand Parade in Cork, and there was a great big platform there for the reception of the team. Well, he was the darling of the crowd that particular night. He got the biggest cheer of all. And I think all the young ladies in Cork in particular have a soft spot for the man wearing the number 10 jersey that belonged to Mark O'Leary during the game, and he has exchanged it now for his number 7, the man from Napirshig, the man whose mother hails from Fiji, whose father hails from Fermanagh, and who came to Cork. And they have a wonderful family, very talented family, wonderful sports people in there. And John Lahey, wasn't the best of occasions for John this afternoon, but my goodness me, how well he played in bringing Tipperary through to this Munster final. And now it's all eyes on the presentation area across the way. Interesting that not that many of the fans have gone in onto the ground. This is in keeping with new regulations. Christy Cooney there on the right, that's Sean Kelly. Christy is the vice chairman of the Munster Council. There's Sean from Kerry, of course, who is the chairman. And the team captain to pick up the cup, Fergal Ryan.
Cork Articles, the Cork League, Cork Rowan and the Tipperary. Hogbolla, Dunrator, Pat Orden. Hoggers, Mila Bickas, Da Aroraha, Guinness. bumper to bumper. They came from the highways and byways of Cork this morning. They returned home this evening as back-to-back champions of Munster. Well done to Cork. Well done to Tipperary for contributing to what was an outstanding game of hurling. Entertainment at its very best. And we look forward to more of the same from both Cork and Tipperary in the All-Ireland Series. Without further ado, it now gives me great pleasure to present the trophy to Blackrock's own. Cork's captain, number 2 in his back, Fergal Ryan.
It's a nice start to the beginning of his captaincy. He kisses the cup. The Munster trophy goes back to Cork. Cork the champions for the 48th time in the South. And that's the wonderful setting here. He might have a couple of fuckle ready.
Tana Sorum and Conshai Glocka, Kunti Kotte!
He had a couple of fuckle ready.
It's an honour and a privilege to be standing up here representing a panel of players that we have here. Not only representing them, representing the people of Cork, my club Blackrock and my family. I think we put to rest the people who might have said or would have said that we were flash in the pan wonders. We have shown them that we are a force to be reckoned with in Munster and outside of it. There's a lot of people to thank in the back room and in every bloody room of this team. I'd like to start with the panel of players. Without them, we would not have achieved this success. The commitment is unbelievable now to be playing at this grade, and it's a privilege to be captain of this panel of players. Also, we have the backroom staff. We have Fred Sheely, we have Johnny Cowley, Bertie Oak, Tom Cashman, who was the last Blackrock member to lift this cup. We also have the one and only Jimmy Valley Murphy. Also, we have the sixth selector, Dr. Khan, our masseur, John Allen, and the man who looks after us with all the gear, Tommy. I'd also like to pay a special mention to our trainer, our physical coach, who must be the most quietest man I know, Teddy Owens. Without further ado, I'd like to thank our sponsors, ESAT Digifone, who have looked after us in every way. And I'd also like to thank the County Board. This is a great day for Cork to put back-to-back Munsters, and hopefully we go on and put back-to-back All-Irelands. Let's go back and paint Cork red!
Yeah, I think they'll be painting Cork red, all right. We come now, Liam, to the whole question of the man of the match.
Well, I mean, you could consider lots of people for man of the match. Tommy Dunn for Tipperary was magnificent to get that goal and so forth. But when you look at it and you look at the Cork full forward line, the return they got, and you look at Joe Dean, he got 11 chances for the hour, and he put away 10 of them, you know, and he was inspirational to lots of other scorers. So you could say Sean O'Halpine, you could say lots of people, but my own view is I would give it to Joe Dean for the fact that he took serious points when they were very, very necessary.
He got 10 points out of 11 shots.
11 shots. I mean,
and he made a couple of other points as well.
Yes, and he got those points at crucial stages as well.
Okay, so the man of the match is Joe Dean, a very, very worthy winner, I feel. Let's go down now and meet the managers there with Jim Carney.
Nicholas English, one of the great Thurles and Munster hurling occasions, but not a win for the home team.
No, we were very disappointed. You know, we were, you know, at the end, like, you can have all the classic games you like, but both teams go out to win, and we went out to win and we're disappointed, you know.
And yet in the last few minutes you came back there almost stole a draw at the least.
Yeah, I think in the end we'd have stolen it, but I think in the first half, you know, we got a few chances to be ahead, and we didn't take them. And you know, when you miss those chances, you know, it's very hard to play a team like Cork, who are All-Ireland champions and have the great players that they have. And you know, they give you a chance. If they do give you a chance, you must take it.
The statistics will show, I suppose, Nicholas, that the goals kept you in it.
Yeah, I think so in the second half. But I mean, in the first half, I think we had chances which, you know, could have made it very difficult for Cork to come back into it.
Yeah. A final thought: you might see each other again before the year's out.
We've a bit of work to do again. Get back to the drawing board. Like, at the end of the day, we must refocus quickly. We've to play in 3 weeks' time, and you know, hopefully we will get back to them again.
Okay, Nicholas, let you into your players in the dressing room, and thank you for joining us and talking to us. Yes. Jimmy, sporting handshake there from Nicholas English, and appropriate on a day like this when hurling was seen at its brilliant best.
Well, it was a great game, and there was a lot of tension out there, I suppose, and a number of players made a few mistakes which they wouldn't normally do, but certainly it was a great game, I think.
Jimmy, you had to ask your team big questions, and even in the last couple of minutes after enjoying a good lead, it was slipping and slipping a little.
Yeah, we didn't play that well in the first half in particular, and as Nicky said there, they had a lot of bad wides in the first half which could have been costly for us, but thankfully we hung in there, and I thought our second half performance was excellent in fairness, and a few of our players upped their performance to 100%, and we took the chance that came away.
Yeah, I think the daily newspapers will tell the story tomorrow, Jimmy, that when you called on your subs, they really answered the call.
Yes, and Pat Ryan in fairness was very, very disappointed not to start today, but when he came in he certainly answered us, and he proved that he has a huge part to play in this Cork team.
Yeah, can I just put it to you finally, Jimmy, as I put to Nicholas, you might meet again.
Well, that's always a possibility. There's a lot of very good teams left in the championship yet, Kilkenny, Galway as well. So, I mean, there's a huge game ahead for both teams.
Jimmy, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.
Yes, since the new system, of course, teams have met in the Leinster final, come back to play in the All-Ireland. It's also been the case in Munster. It could happen again today. Cork won by 2 points. Back to the studio.
Yes, well, Jimmy Barry Murphy is still the hero. Cork are still the champions. The panel are still in studio, and we'll have their analysis after this commercial break. Stay with us. The Munster hurling title, and they march on to the All-Ireland semi-final then. The panel are still with me, Pete Finnerty, Tomás Mulcahy and Declan Carr. Congratulations, first of all, obviously, Tomás. Interestingly, Fergal Ryan said there in his speech that the team wanted to prove that what they achieved last year just wasn't a flash in the pan.
Yeah, I mean, if people maybe say they won the All-Ireland last year, before the time, and maybe that they were planning that this year would be the right occasion. They're a very, very young squad, but the success of last year has driven on to actually achieve more, and they made a few changes to their panel during the year, and they brought a new guy today, Derek Barrett, and to his credit, he had a fantastic 70 minutes, I think, today, and I mean, when you see John Leahy be moved from midfield to half forward, you know that Derek Barrett has done a fantastic job, and the introduction of Pat Ryan in the second half really boosted the midfield play at that stage, and it gave the supply of ball that I spoke about at half-time that the inside forwards needed from Cork, and with Joe Dean and with Seanie McGrath and Ben O'Connor getting a free hand in the second half, it was certainly an occasion when Cork were able to tap on the points, and the goal certainly kept Tipperary in the end.
They did. In the first half, Declan Carr, Tip just couldn't seem to hit the posts. In the second half, in fairness, they couldn't seem to miss them except the penalties. 2 excellent points that we have pointed out here at the beginning of the second half. The contrast from the first half.
Tipperary really needed to come out in the second half and get off to a good start. I'm sure it was in their heads the amount of misses and the easy misses that they had. It started very brightly in the second half for Eddie Enright. Good run up the wing him, Corcoran. Eddie has one look and pops it over the bar, and that would have done his confidence the world of good, and Tipperary's.
Yeah. A simple point and well taken. Another one.
Another one to come, as I said at half time, Liam Cahill needed to get into the game. If he got a good score, I felt he could be a match winner. In fact, after that great point, he just didn't really get into the game. Having said that, I think really Tipperary were only going to keep the Cork half-back line at bay for so long, and the Cork full-forward line, and I think, you know, both the Tipperary full-backs did a great job for so long. They couldn't sustain the pressure after all their misses. It was evident that Cork would get on top, and they did eventually in the half-back line and the full-forward line.
And of course, once again, Tomás, Joe Dean, such a central character to the attack, 10 points today and man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, at a stage in the game, when it was poor quality in the first half, it opened up a bit in the second half, and you need the leaders to come out to the forefront. And I mean, certainly in the second half, Cork had Joe Dean, and the supply of the ball makes a big difference to Joe Dean. And here we see an instant ball that's breaking out. And when it comes in, you see, when it comes into Joe Dean, he's very, very quick to react.
A lot of messing, and he just showed the simple way to do his thing.
You know, first time hurling, when he breaks toward the ball, he's very, very quick on his feet. He's great vision and great striking ability, and like to score the amount of points that he got today from frees and from play was a credit to Joe.
Well done to Joe Dean. Pete Finnerty, they may have lost the match, but Tip and Tomás Dunn in particular have scored 2 of the finest goals that I've ever seen in the Munster hurling final. The first one in particular, where he picked his spot, and what a cracker.
Yeah, we were looking for scores in the first half, and we get 2 contenders for goal of the year in the second half. Tom Dunn, it was at a stage of the game in the game where Cork were getting on top, and they needed somebody to lift it. John Leahy wasn't really in the game at midfield, and Tommy Dunn, the captain, who better man to do it? Here we see him go on a wee solo run. Now, you might say that's a speculative shot at goal, but if you see it in action replay, he looks up, he picks his spot, and he's such a striker of the ball, a free taker, a dead ball marksman. He looks at his as far away as he can from the goalkeeper, picks the spot and lets it into the net. It might have hit the post, but when you see class like that, it deserves a little bit of a reward. And it came at a time, I think that ignited the game, because it was to and fro again for the first 10 minutes of the second half. It wasn't great until that goal ignited. Suddenly, the game was there for grabs. Tipperary seemed to be getting on top, and the Cork had to pull out their experience, their stops, and Joe Dean came to the fore. Sean O'Halpin started playing it at half-back. Ben O'Connor inside was evident for the first time in the game. And I think that new man at Derek Barrett at midfield did an incredible job, yeah. And of course, Pat Ryan coming on.
Sure.
Pat really told them who should have started this morning.
Yeah, and he'd be saying they'll be starting.
The next day. There'll be questions.
I think perhaps going back to the goals issue, Tomás Mulcahy, probably the best goal that I've ever seen at Thurles was John Fenton. Remember all those years ago?
That's right, against Limerick,
yeah. But for a Sutton goal, Tomás Dunn's second goal certainly has to rate in the list someplace anyway.
Oh yeah, fantastic ability altogether, and there's no doubting Thomas Dunn's striking ability. And when the ball comes through, I mean, I'm not going to even pick out Brian Courtney missing this as centre back, because when the ball goes through, it's very quick play by Eugene O'Neill to pick the ball up. He sees Tommy Dunn inside, and great reaction out of Tommy just to turn and hit. Great striking ability, and Tipperary people probably be wondering now why wasn't the switch made earlier, that he should be moved to full forward at an earlier time in the game when they were struggling inside. But you can't change that now at this stage, and I'm sure they'll learn from today, and they'll look at it for the next day. Maybe it is a move that's possible again. Putting Tommy into the edge of the square with his hurling ability, like Joe Dean at the other end, certainly would cause a lot of problems for full-backs.
Well, certainly, I suppose when it was made, Declan, it was a wise move as it turned out by Nicky English and his selectors. When you lose a match, any match, a Munster final, you're still back in the championship in the backdoor system, but some doubts would be in various people's heads now.
Absolutely, but you know, to go back in it, Tipperary have a lot to look forward to. You know, out of this team, I think that Tomás made the point that the first half was bad from a Cork perspective. I think a lot of that got to do with how well Tipperary actually got on top of them. Now, if they had to realise half their chances, it would have been an entirely different game. So I think, you know, granted they'll be very disappointed, you know, and annoyed with themselves over certain things, but they certainly can look forward to the next day. You know, they have a lot going for them.
From a Cork point of view, Tomás, I mean, again, coming back to the flash in the pan thing last year, the truth of it is that most people last year reckoned that Cork might win the All-Ireland this year. It is this year now, and they're the Munster champions and still going for the All-Ireland.
Yeah, it's great credit to the whole squad themselves. That, I mean, it isn't easy in today's days because of the physical training and the demands there's on players' times at this stage to come back and actually win a Munster championship again. But I'm sure Jimmy and the selectors, when they look back at this game as well, they'll see that there's a lot of room for improvement, because the one big worry I had in the first half, if Tipperary had converted all those scoring chances that they had, I mean, it could have been a different story at half-time. We could have been going in 4 or 5 points down at that stage, and that would have given Tipperary a huge lift. I think Tip maybe kind of deflated themselves a little bit. They had huge opportunities to put the game beyond Cork in the first half and failed to do so, and that was the big downfall today.
Pete Finnerty, Galway obviously are waiting in the quarter-finals for the losers in either Leinster or Munster. Would they fancy Tip?
I think they'd be hoping for the losers in Leinster after the day. No, I wouldn't think any team would fancy Tip, because as Declan said, like, they'll go back, they'll regroup, they'll look at their problems. Like, they missed 2 penalties today and they only lost by 2 points.
Yes.
Had they converted both of those, they had, I think it was 15 wides or something like that. Had they converted 2 or 3 more of those, which they could have easily, it wasn't under that much pressure. Now, Nicholas English has done a great job, and the tactical switch again of bringing Tommy Dunn to full forward shows that English on the sideline knows what he's doing. And when these guys get a little bit more belief in themselves, it's a great experience to play in a Munster final. OK, get beaten, but they're going on, they get the second chance. Now, they have 3 weeks to get it right again. And with English sitting down with them on Tuesday night, going through the wrongs and the rights that they did, getting reunited again, Cork are still there, they can still get another lash at Cork. And it's a great incentive for them, but I don't think Galway will be looking forward to them.
All right, that's all for another day, but for the moment we're going to take the results of the day. Now, once again, if you don't want to see the results, look away. Remember, these games will be featured later on tonight on the Sunday game, so the results in vision only on the screen now. Gone off the screen, hurling final day. Cork are still the champions in the south. Tip, of course, now will have to wait and see what the All-Ireland quarter-final draw throws in their way. Peter Finnerty, Tomas Mulcahy and Declan Carr have been with me here in studio. I will hope to see you later on, but for now, it's bye-bye.
Given it all, but I don't think it was a spectacle in the first half. But in the second half, things really opened up with some great scores and play. And in fairness, Tip, they got a couple of great goals.
Well, it was a very fast game. You know, there was points flying over either end, goals going in, and on our side, unfortunately. But you know, in fairness, it was a great game, great conditions, and you know, there's a great crowd here, great atmosphere, brilliant day.
Oh, Tip are a great side. We knew that. They had 2 great games against Waterford, and they beat a very good Clare team as well. So we knew it was going to be a very tough game.
We knew Tip would fight the whole way to the end, and in fairness to them, we were 5 points ahead, but they came back and they got a goal and a point, and suddenly we were only a point ahead. But you know, they have a lot of spirit, and they showed that to come back against Clare this year, and you know, they're still in it, and they'll be thereabouts at the end of the day.
Joe, final thought. You're wearing Philip's jersey. That's real sportsmanship, isn't it?
I suppose it is really. Philip, a really good old tussle there. It broke even for an awful lot of it. He's a good player, good team player, and so I've no doubt we might meet again before the year's out.
And swap a jersey again?
Hopefully.
Well done, Joe.
Yeah, well, there was only a narrow margin in it in the end. Tip will rue those missed chances of the first half, plus their 2 missed penalties. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's the score up on the board that counts. Cyril Farrell watched that game this afternoon. Cyril, just 2 points in it at the end. Hard to call sort of what this means on either side, because the game could have gone either way.
Well, first thing is, Michael, both of them were up for the game and both want to win the Munster title. Cork will be happy to have won, because in actual fact they played well in the second half, well, for the last 25 minutes, but up to that they were kind of spluttering and starting, and you know, Jim Barry Murphy will have a good bit to work on. Now, Nicky English will be disappointed to lose as well, but again he will feel that if they took their chances in the first half, they could have gone in at half time at least 6-7 points up, and it could be a completely different game.
As I said, the missed chances of the first half plus the missed penalties. One aspect about the missed penalties, by the way, an awful lot of the phone calls that we've been getting have been about Donald Cusack's tackle on Paul Shelley. Should have been sent off, they say.
Well, he could have, if you go by the rule, he had to be sent off, and like, he's very lucky, no more than Jim Sullivan. The last day, like against Limerick, you know, he's not a dirty player by any means. He came out, he kind of he went very high around, you know, Shelley busting through, and then Sullivan got involved as well. No, he wasn't even booked.
Would video evidence come against him on this one?
Well, the funny thing is, Michael, that video evidence wasn't used the last day for Sullivan, and
yeah.
It's probably been used. We'll see later on tonight that it's probably going to be used in football. So I don't know what the GAC, I don't know what the rules are. There's a lot of talk about what they're doing, but like, they seem to have different rules for football and hurling. Time will tell.
OK, Tip have lost the Munster final, but no particular need, I think, for Nicky English and his selectors to panic on this one.
They won't panic. They'll be a bit worried. Like, Cork will feel happy in the sense that Derek Barrett centre field played very, very well. Tip midfield all year was doing very, very good, and were dominating every game, but they wound up switching both players. Now, OK, Tommy Dunn went in full forward and played very well inside it, but John Leahy wound up, say, wing forward. Pat Ryan came on, and like, he answered his, you know, he was saying to Jim Barry Murphy, you better pick me the next day, I should be on from the start. Like, Mark Landers is still pushing for a place there, so Cork are the team to beat, whereas Tip, they'll be very disappointed, but they're still in it, and no one will want to meet them in a quarter-final.
They're still in it, but the advantage obviously for Cork is they now have weeks to prepare for an All-Ireland semi-final, where Tip have to go back again now into the grind of it.
But they have 3 weeks off, Michael, and like, you begin to wonder, like, are the weeks are too many weeks away from a match? It's nice to have the games coming up, and like, they'll be ready again, and you know, most teams will try to avoid it. Now, the draw will be very interesting next Sunday night, because like, after the Munster final, the draw will be on, and like, it's a new championship again. It really then the championship begins.
It's interesting the number of people have been talking after the match there about the possibility of the two sides meeting in the All-Ireland final. So obviously the view is that Tip are good enough to get there.
Well, when you look at a Munster final, say, especially the second half, and it's hip, you know, it's hipping and whipping, and there's blood flying as well, and there's bands. Now, it wasn't a dirty game, but you have this feeling that both of them could wind up in the All-Ireland final. But you have Kilkenny and Offaly lying back, play a different style of hurling, not the same kind of 100 miles an hour stuff. They were kind of more, you know, a slower pace in a sense. And like, you know, Kilkenny will be saying to themselves, they will be favourites next Sunday against Offaly. And like, you couldn't count any of them out at all, because probably the game of the year last year was Offaly versus Cork.
Yeah. All right, sir, thank you for that. That's where indeed we have to take a short break. But coming up, we'll have coverage from today's 3 semi-finals in the Bank of Ireland Football Championship. In Connacht, Leitrim took on Roscommon. We'll have the replay between Derry and Antrim from Ulster, while in